Okay. Good morning and welcome to the 2013 State Landcare Conference. This is the 10th Community Landcare Conference held in South Australia since 1989, when the decade of Landcare began. My name is Jerry Butler and I'm the Chairman of the Landcare Association of South Australia, and we're pleased to bring you this conference. We'd like to acknowledge that we're on Kaurna land and we'll have a welcome to country shortly. Before the welcome, I would like to also acknowledge our sponsors. Our foundation sponsor, Australian Government, Department of Agriculture. Our gold sponsor, Prime Industries and Regions SA. And our venue sponsor, the Department of Environment, Water and Natural Resources. In addition, many of the registrants have been supported by our registrant support sponsors, the Gore to Wellington Lab and the Natural Resource Management Boards listed above my head and in your program booklet. Our media partners for the conference are Environmental Science Media, who will be capturing some of the action on video over the 2 days and producing a short video and capturing lots of extra information for us. The Stock Journal and Smart Farmer, who will write about the conference. And the ABC Country Hour, who will broadcast from the venue tomorrow. I hope this conference will both enlighten and enthuse you. The conference theme is People Working Together. This theme is epitomised in the presentations that we have gathered together and the 4 streams of people and volunteers, biodiversity, Indigenous land management and sustainable farming and fishing. I would like to acknowledge the Conference Steering Committee, for without their fantastic effort, we would not be here today. Their names are listed here and also in the booklet. You'll see them with red tops on. We're here to help you. So, without further words, would like you to welcome Jack Buckskin, Robert Taylor and Kumakara, followed by the Welcome to Country. So if Don, could you just mention that? Thank you very much.
Sorry, I always get fidgety in front of lecterns. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all here today. I'm just going to speak in English first. We're Kumakara Dance Group. Kumakara means one blood in Kaurna language. We represent many different Aboriginal groups from South Australia. We represent the Kaurna, the Narungga, the Gugasa, the Aranda, the Wirangu, the Ngadjuri, the Ngarrindjeri. So we've got many Aboriginal ties. So our name, Kumakara, one blood, represents our people, who we are as young Aboriginal men. We represent a diverse group of Aboriginal people, and we try and teach people a lot about that as well. But my name is Vincent Buckskin. Everybody just knows me as Jack. I'm a proud Ghana, Naranga and Wirango man. My family grew up on Point Pearce Mission, later moved over to the Riverland for schooling and for work, and now we grew up in Adelaide, or I grew up in Adelaide, and ever since I've been here I've been working on Ghana language, and now I'm a Ghana language teacher. So we get out and perform as much as we can too. So on behalf of all of our ancestors, we'd like to welcome you onto Ghana country, and I'm going to say the same thing in Ghana language. So if you're of the Euro languages, you might understand a little bit as well, because a lot of our languages are very similar. So ngankana miana namani ngana bintini chika kanya kulu pina kuno chabakani ngatangi wata Ghana Naranga Wirango mio. Maruchang nga chupukiana, workana kumagana miana na yalara, ngawangan di mani bonikana yatana, ngachu yungandalia, yakanandalia. Ngalu kumagaro baltmiana, ngalu Ghana Naranga Wirango gugata aranda, ngadri, ngarang dari kuma. Maruchang ngalu kupukiana, ngalu wangan di mani bonikana yatana takaricha. So we're going to sing a song now, which is a blessing song, to call upon our spirits to come and join us. We also like to pay our respects to the didgeridoo, because we didn't have didgeridoos down here. We just incorporated it into our dance because we love playing the didgeridoo at home, and we like to muck around and do a bit of hip hop and stuff through the didgeridoo as well. So you might get a little bit of that later. But so we like saying tampa di yiraki kanda na kulia chimatin yongo miana ngaluanga ni mai mak yongo. So saying thank you and yongo mata for letting us use their traditional instrument. Our group is adopted up there to East Arnhem Land, so it's only proper for us to pay our respects before we do play it. So this first song is a song paying respects to the past ancestors. Now we got our spirits here with us. We're gonna call upon them to come and join us in this first dance. Our first dance is our Welcome to Country dance. It's also known as Manitaula, which means the good spirit. So it's a good spirit dance. It's just of us stomping our feet into the ground to get those spirits to rise and bless the country and join us and make us stronger as young Aboriginal men. So this dance is known as Manitaula, the good spirit dance. Warmed up a little bit now. We're gonna break it out with a little bit of traditional break off. You know, you fellas, you've all seen like break offs I know I see a lot of these fellas like with grey hair, you was like, break-offs. I was a part of that stuff in the 80s. We do the same thing, we've been doing it for thousands of years, but we call it the muckindi. And the muckindi is the shake legs. And that's a dance that we normally do for the ladies. So it's a show-off dance for us, but it's a dance that shows off against us young men when we perform it against each other. It's a form of showing your strength as a young man. So that's the whole importance of this dance, the muckindi. And this way the ladies used to like this as well. If we had women sitting in a semicircle and we all perform muckindi, we all do the shaker legs, the women can just sit back and be like, I like that one. So this is our muckindi dance, the shaker legs. We're going to do another dance for you as well. It's a real important dance for us. This down here, Adelaide, if your followers aren't familiar with Adelaide, Adelaide's original name is Tandanya, and the art gallery down here, Tandanya Art Gallery, it has the same name, but people pronounce it a little bit different. So we like for you followers to learn a little bit. While we do this stuff, we like people to learn something. So hopefully if the next time you come back to Adelaide, you're coming back to good stuff, Tandanya. Tandanya is named after Tanda, the big red kangaroo, and Ganya the rock. This is the dreaming place of the big red kangaroo. The story of Tanda started down here, and the same storyline goes all the way up through the middle of Australia to Arnhem Land. And so this is a very important dance for us because we're so close to Tandanya. We're going to perform Tanda, the big red kangaroo. And this is a dance that was taught to us by a group over in Sydney when I was over in Samoa performing with them. We've been working on language revitalisation, and we're getting pretty good with our language learning. We're starting to get fluent speakers back. The next part of the journey is revitalisation of song and dance. And we've been working on that now, and in the next couple of weeks we're going over to Melbourne to do a bit more learning as well. So this is the dance of Tanda, the big red kangaroo. We're going to let you followers get in and enjoy the rest of the conference. We're going to see you a little bit later on as well down at Colebrook. But before we get out of here, we're going to teach fellas a good word for goodbye, because our goodbyes aren't as, I guess, as formal as in English. And our goodbyes, we always know we're going to see each other again. And three groups that we represent really strongly are the Ghana, the Narungga and the Ngaranjeti. and all the languages are very similar as well. So we're going to teach you how to say goodbye in the 3 languages. So first off, we'll start off with the Narungga people over on the York Peninsula. We're really strongly related with them. Then fellas over there say Nakaja. Can you fellas say Nakaja? Good. And I'm going to test you on this. When I see you around later on, I'm going to test you on this stuff. Down here in Ghana country here, we say Nakara. Can you say Nakara? Good. And then the Ngarrindjeri people down on the east coast, down in the southeast, they're much more lazier than us fellas. They have a shorter word. They just say Nakan. Can you say Nakan? You can use any one. Nakaja, Nakara, Nakara. And we're like our New Zealander brothers and sisters, you know, they cut everything short. We're a lot like that too. We get lazy. Sometimes we don't even say Nakan. We just go Nak. Nak Drek. So from Kumakaral, we'd like to say Nakan Nakaja Nakara, Nakan Nak Drek.
Susan is a state member for Port Adelaide. She has lived locally on the Lefevre Peninsula for over 10 years with Declan and her 2 children, and is passionate about representing the people in their community. Prior to entering Parliament, Susan was a senior manager in the Environment Department. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you. And before I begin, I would like to pay tribute to that astonishing welcome to country and that sharing of culture and of language that Jack and his fellow dancers gave us. We are so privileged to have people like Jack in our community who are prepared to show us just glimpses of their astonishing range of culture. Before every opening, at the beginning, we always acknowledge country and we acknowledge the Kaurna elders, and we recognise their ongoing spiritual relationship to this land. And whenever I do that for an environment forum, I feel it's particularly significant and poignant, because the Aboriginal people who lived here for time beyond remembering know that the land that sustains us is the same land that you protect. And their ideas, their philosophy, I believe, are very well borne out by the Landcare movement. So it is particularly apposite to acknowledge country in this environment. There are many dignitaries here, and I won't go through the full list, but I acknowledge you all, and I acknowledge everybody who has come here today, volunteers and workers. And thank you for allowing me to be part of these proceedings. The Minister for Sustainability, Environment and Conservation, the Honourable Ian Hunter, is unable to be here. I believe he's interstate. This is the sort of thing he would normally love to be part of, but I'm very fortunate that when he can't do these things, he or his office tap me on the shoulder and ask me to come instead. Having spent so much time in the environment movement and working with the Environment Department for many happy years, it's always a pleasure to, as I partially feel it, come home. Landcare has been a part of this state and this nation's environment since 1989, when it first began its mission to make Australia's agricultural regions both more productive and more sustainable. And although that didn't happen until 1989, in fact, I believe that was an expression of what many landholders were feeling, that their job was not just to produce but also to sustain their land. Since then, Landcare has also played a very important role in assisting the work we do as a government and we do as a community to protect, conserve and manage our coasts, bush, rivers and other natural resources. This conference today brings together representatives from across our state, representing just some of the many thousands of community groups that make up Landcare nationally. And this conference will enable you to learn and share your experiences with each other. Thanks to the work Landcare and its many tireless volunteers, today we can see many areas of land now possess less erosion and better soil management than before. We've seen coastal dunes and waterways become better protected and have seen more remnant native vegetation and habitat for native wildlife protected. All around this state, Landcare projects have successfully run and many more are continuing to run. In my own community of Port Adelaide, I've seen firsthand the great work of the Friends of Lefevre Peninsula, the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society, the Australian Marine and Wildlife Research and Rescue Organisation, and they and no doubt others have received assistance from Landcare. This work of Landcare volunteers is vast and it's varied, and in many places it's become part of the social fabric that binds communities together, providing opportunities for people to connect with the community as well as with their local environment. This is, of course, a priority for this state government to ensure that community is placed at the centre of decision-making in South Australia. Here we have 8 separate regions of natural resource management to ensure that the natural resources of each area is catered for appropriately, but also to ensure that they are governed with each region's diverse ecosystems. Governed by a Natural Resources Management Board, NRM board, each region develops its own NRM regional plan designed to meet the needs of the local regions and to contribute to the state level planning. They are also responsible for developing, managing and implementing local programs and promoting community engagement and education. Some of you may not be aware, but at the beginning of this year and also late last year, we launched a series of NRM centres. These centres are places where people can get access to a broad range of services and information about the natural resource management framework for each region. And they're places where all those involved in the NRM community can connect. Information is available about land, water and biodiversity management, irrigation improvement programs, national park visitor information, and wildlife and environmental services. Front counter staff can assist community members to have access to information across the board. And as I said earlier, from natural resources centres are places where the community, business, traditional owners and government can meet to discuss local, regional and even national natural resources management issues. I understand that later today the 2013 Premier's NRM Awards and SA Landcare Awards are being announced. This is a great way to recognise all those volunteers who selflessly give their time, knowledge, resources and expertise to help conserve and improve natural resources. I want to wish the nominees the very best and I'm looking forward to hearing who today here wins those awards. Before I finish, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's made the effort to be here, whether as presenters or as delegates, and also to thank each and every one of you for your willingness to contribute to your communities in the way in which you do. I know that your commitment and your readiness to assume the important role of custodians for our environment will leave a lasting legacy for generations to come. Thank you.
Okay, I'm the third person who's welcoming you, actually the fourth. So there are a few things I need to go over before we get into the formal proceedings of today. My name's Leanne Muffet. I'm going to be emceeing the conference over the next 2 days and really looking forward to getting to know some of you during that time. We have got a range of VIPs and special guests. I'm going to mention some of them, there may be others, but we've got a number here and I'll just list them before we move on to other components. So I'm not sure, is the Honourable Michelle Netsky here? Thank you. Hi Michelle, I've been looking for you. Susan Close, State Member for Port Adelaide. Tim Kelly, Conservation Council of South Australia. Hugh MacDonald, Director of Landcare Australian Limited. Andrew Inglis, Presiding Member of the NRM Council of South Australia. David Mitchell, President of Trees for Life and President of Friends of Parks Inc. Harry Agus, Presiding Member of the AW Natural Resource Management Board. John Chester, General Manager, Aboriginal Land Trust. I know that there are others as well, but the list would probably take me about another half an hour to read, so I'm going to pause there. I also want to welcome and acknowledge our sponsors and also our media partners. And of course to welcome you, the speakers, volunteers, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. So on to the proceedings. We've got an amazing lineup of speakers for you, both today and tomorrow, and we've also got a really fantastic looking combination of field trips, some of which are in Adelaide, some of which Virginia, Erbray and other places as well. And a number of them have quite a strong Indigenous theme, so we're really excited about the ability to take you on those and share those learnings with you. On your name badge, you'll have a dot, a star, some kind of little marking that is colour coded. So that colour is synonymous with the tour that you're going on. So orange, green, blue. So look for that when we get to that part of the program after lunch. All right, I think on that note, I'm going to invite our 4 keynote speakers up. So if I can please invite Bill McIntosh, Evelyn O'Loughlin, David Rathman and David Walker to come up onto the stage. Well, welcome. So we've got these fantastic 4 keynote addresses who are about to present to you. I'll be introducing them individually before their presentations, but essentially what we've got here are 4 people to represent the 4 themes of the conference. We've got some really exciting looking content. So Bill McIntosh is going to be talking to us about balancing NRM in a changing landscape. Evan O'Loughlin is going to be talking to us about volunteering, the lifeblood of the Australian economy. David Rathman is going to be talking about caring for country, what isn't different about us. So I'm really looking forward to that. It should be quite fascinating. And David Walker is going to be talking to us about the community Landcare system and how to make and how to engage and activate citizenship and involvement through that process.